Greetings and/or salutations, guys, and welcome to another edition of Webb's Rarities. I first wanted to touch on the delay between this video and my last video. I've unfortunately had a couple of setbacks in my health recently, and my energy and strength just wasn't there to really do anything, but I'm feeling a lot better today, so here we go. I did want to give the sort of storyline on my condition, what it is, and how we got to where we are now. If I hadn't mentioned in my first video, I have a condition called neuroferritinopathy. And what that is it causes iron buildup on the brain. So what happens is it messes up the centers of the brain that control balance, coordination, movement. And so you start to develop symptoms that are very similar to Parkinson's and a whole other mess of things. We believe I started to develop this as a kid because the first telltale symptoms are massive headaches. And when I was a kid, I did have very massive headaches, but we sort of equated it to migraines. So I also started to develop tremors, which apparently are also a telltale sign. In college, upon the advice of a few friends and just being curious like the monkey George, I started to investigate and had a few different opinions, some being essential tremors, some being Parkinson's, some being MS. One of my good friends joked around that the diagnosis changed every week, which it seemed to. I didn't know which way was up, which way was down, which way was sideways. So I went to see a doctor at Hamilton General, who did a few tests of her own, concluded that I don't know, which was the opinion of a lot of people. So what we did was we started to investigate the family tree, and my father, who everyone believed had Parkinson's, actually had this condition that I've got right now. So the neurologist concluded that, well, it's a genetic condition. We should do some blood work to see what's what. So we did the blood work and sent it to a lab in Germany, which is apparently the only lab that can do specialized blood work. So I got a call one day and came into her office. She goes, "Well, you've got Parkinson's, sort of." So I go, "What do you mean, sort of?" What she said was she produced this piece of paper with the lab results, and it came back positive for neurodegeneration with brain iron accumulation, type 3. So I got the bronze medal, not the gold. And I asked her what this meant. She goes, "Essentially, it's called neuroferritinopathy, which is its other simpler name." I asked, what is this? Well, that's where she told me that it causes symptoms that are very similar to other conditions. They don't know what the cause is, except for the iron and a messed up gene. And the treatment is nothing really. So I was okay with this diagnosis because I finally got an answer. But I started to investigate other treatment options. So they sent me to Toronto Western and went to see their neurological team. What we came up with were 3 different options for treatment. A pill that could get rid of the iron, an MRI focused ultrasound, or deep brain stimulation. What the pill would do is it would cause the iron to chelate, which would mean we could easily sort of scrape it off or get it off the brain so it wouldn't develop further. Apparently what we found out with this was the pill wasn't covered, it didn't do the job that they thought it would do, and it doesn't work in somebody with my condition. So I said, well, that's not really going to work very well. The second, the MRI focused ultrasound, which would basically be we could zap one part of the brain so one side of my body wouldn't shake, but the other would. And I didn't really figure the point in that because it would get rid of the tremor in one hand, but it would still have the tremor in the other. And as my father would say, if you're going to do it, let's do it right. The third option, which they've done in people with Parkinson's, depression, and anxiety, is deep brain stimulation, which is, in layman's terms, they essentially cut open the top of your head, attach a couple of electrodes to the parts of the brain that are affected, and essentially zap them so that they start to work properly again. And then they insert a pacemaker in your chest so that they could send the electrodes from the pacemaker up to the brain in order to get everything working properly. And that wouldn't work in somebody with my condition, I was told, because they'd never done it, and I would essentially be a guinea pig. And as much as I'd like to try and find something to fix this condition or help it, I really didn't feel like being a guinea pig. So over the years, I've started to slowly lose my mobility, slowly lose my strength in my limbs, and started to develop a few other symptoms that are quite frustrating, but unfortunately there's not much we can do right now. So where we are currently is sort of in a holding pattern. We're trying out different medication combinations, we're trying out different methods of treatment like rehab and exercise and physio, and sometimes they work, sometimes it's sort of like a placebo effect that it'll last for about a year or so, and then gradually the body starts to lose that strength that it built up. So, as you can tell, I'm sort of a bit disappointed and a bit sad at how things are going, but for people that know me, I have the strength and I have the conviction, and I'll keep plowing through and I'll keep putting out videos. So I think I'm going to end it here. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much for subscribing, and hopefully when I upload this, the comment section will be enabled, and if it isn't, I'm sorry, I'm still trying to figure out this technology thing. So, thank you very much, guys, again, and I'll catch you in the next video. Love you and have a good day. Bye-bye.